What's up, guys? Welcome to Bold Voices. So excited to have you all here. Thank you, Stacey Ann, for reposting the stream. Join us, chat with us. We want to hear all your feedback, questions, comments in the chat. If you want to repost, share, that would be amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. Kevin Smith, Jay, Madeline, Elizabeth. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, man, we're going to get into it. I don't know if you guys know. I don't know how you wouldn't. There's been a bit of a feud going on. If you don't know about it, maybe you've been living under a rock. I don't know, but there's a whole Tim Pool, Candace Owens feud going on. They've been in an increasingly personal and explosive public feud since about late November. Enter, Nick Fuentes, enter Erica Kirk, obviously. So that is what we are getting into tonight. Thanks for being here, guys. I'm going to kick it off with a little clip of Tim Pool.
Candace Owens is a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate cunt. She is burning everything down. And she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you fucking told me? She has no security. She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer. And all of these fucking conservatives out there that send me these fucking messages have no fucking balls to call her out. More and more people have started doing it. They send me these fucking messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't fucking DM me like I did something for you as you fucking cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which he's doing to me right fucking now.
Yeah, that was the...
I'm fucking done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two fucking shits. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a shit about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my fucking property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got fucking strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who trying to live there. How the fuck am I even supposed to sell this property? And it's all lies. It's all hypocrisy. And it is for the purpose of making money. And she does not live the way other people live. And she claims she liked Charlie. She loved Charlie. And she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil. And I'll say it again. This conservative movement is fractured. It's fried, whatever it is. Okay? Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending in the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered. Yeah. And this is the point, isn't it? The most effective political assassination in history. And thanks to the likes of the vile cunt Candace Owens, she has turned Turning Point into the perpetrators of the crime that was against them. I don't get paid by any of these people. I'm not on good terms necessarily with Turning Point USA. They didn't invite me to their stupid event. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. They invited me back after I started criticizing Candace. I'm not going to your event. I'm over all of this shit. The last thing that I need to deal with is a bunch of cowards in conservative media refusing to stand up to her. Megyn Kelly, come on. I appreciate the kind words, but come on. Such fucking pathetic bullshit. And I get people saying, Tim, thank you so much for talking about it. I don't care. I'm not doing a favor for anybody. I'm not doing this to benefit anybody. Nobody's paying me. There's no fucking Russia. There's no fucking Israel. There's just me sticking my neck out and then risking dying for what? A bunch of cowards that don't want to stand up to protect themselves? People like fucking Candace Owens?
I couldn't believe that she put you in the thumbnail
what a fucking cunt.
Of her piece today.
I'm done.
The idea that she'd imply that you had some benefit or that you benefit somehow. She
benefited. I think she's a Fed, and I think she killed Charlie. No one benefited more than her.
Well, there you have it. I don't know what your guys' initial thoughts are. Obviously, Tim looks heated, but to me, it comes across, I don't know, it comes across very genuine from what in terms of where it's, Tim is at and feeling. What do you guys think about this whole thing and how damaging is all of this right now?
He's right. Very damaging.
He's right. Yeah. Everything he said was correct. And I want to be clear, there's nothing nothing on point. If nothing hits home, just like a well-placed cunt. You know, save that for when it matters. But you know, it's look, Candace. If I gave her the benefit of the doubt on all of this, which I don't at all, like when you're doing an investigation into something, you like do it behind the scenes. You don't drip out. Oh, look what I found. I got an email here. You connect all your dots and then you go bombshell report. She's obviously doing this to make it some kind of like a making of murder mystery for like boomer women that like the people that watch the ID channel all day long. And it's incredibly detrimental to someone she claims she loved. You know, how much she loved him, in what way remains to be seen. Seems like a girl who's kind of pissed off she didn't get picked. But you know, and now she's taking it out on the widow. But you know, look, Tim is a real guy, and Candace to me just seems like she's doing this as like a dramatic reading of some kind of a novel, and it's not good.
Yeah. I disagree. I'm not like the biggest, Candace Owens is great and perfect and everything here. But I think Candace Owens, there's a reason and there's validity behind her calling it out. I also think that for them to act like Candace Owens has made more money right after Charlie died, by the end of the whole ceremony in Arizona, when everyone flew there for the whole thing, I'm not going to lie, I got really grossed out by how many emails and texts Turning Point sent out raising money on the behalf of his death. For them to act like they haven't raised money, take what Candace Owens said away. I'm saying that I got so many messages from Turning Point that I was grossed out because these are all people that are saying they're mourning Charlie Kirk. I understand that all of these things cost money, but they have raised a ton of money on the death of her husband, on the death of their so-called friend. I think Candace Owens has a reason to call. I think Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, there's a lot of people that I think are that would agree on certain ends of this. I think there's a lot of people who don't believe that the shooter acted alone or is the shooter. And I think a lot of people in politics today are afraid to go against the base or are afraid to go against certain groups of people. And unfortunately, I'm going to agree. It isn't because I'm like an anti-Semite or because I'm against like I believe in everything she's saying. I also think if internet sleuths are going to sleuth, I think Candace Owens at least we're getting the main core of what all these people are thinking. And everybody should look at it and say, like, if all of these people who tune into her show and follow it are commenting this, maybe it would be good if Turning Point answered questions. And I want to call bullshit that I was behind this last week. I was really following it because somebody said, I can't believe after all this time she turned down talking to them. Well, they tweeted her overnight. They have her direct phone number. They could have texted her. They could have called her. They tweeted at her. They gave her 24 hours to answer. She responded. She said, I can't come the 15th. Number one, she has children. Number two, she lives in Nashville. And she said, I'm happy on any day, any time. I will cancel my podcast and I will stream live. But I can't come there the 15th. There's something that already prior planned. She's been calling on Turning Point to respond to her questions for 3 months. Where have they been for 3 months? Now all of a sudden they give her 24 hours to respond after she's been asking for 3 months. And then they say, hey, you know what? We're not going to do this over a stream. Why not? Because they want her there in person? I'm confused. Also, after all the horrible things all of them have said, maybe she doesn't feel safe going to meet with them in person. I blame her.
She felt safe going to Dollywood the next week. She felt safe going to Russell.
Yeah,
Brand.
I mean, I've seen things there too, but also, I don't know. Did she comment on the Dollywood situation?
No, because that's not in the script.
Right, but my whole thing is like, I would love the facts behind Dollywood because people still have to live. We don't know if she had security. There's plenty of security. Mm-hmm. I've lived in LA for years. There's plenty of security that's you wouldn't even know it. And there's regular people that they look like regular people and their security, and they're standing like 10, 20 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not over here like there's a right and wrong. I just am going to say that I think that it's fair. And I think for how many Americans do follow Candace Owens, do follow Tucker Carlson, and all of these other people who are coming out and saying, why can we not get answers? Why are we not allowed to answer questions?
Well, because I think you can not believe the information that has come out so far.
Right.
And also think that some of the things that Candace Owens is saying are insane. I mean, I made a list of it just on my show. Like, it was Egyptian planes, palm guns, obviously Mossad, because you got to find a way to work Israel into it somehow. You know, I made my coffee wrong earlier. That was the fault of the Jews. The tunnels underneath it was the tunnels underneath the colleges. Like, it's just, if she
came to her in a dream.
Yeah, it came to her in a dream.
Yeah, listen, I'm not sitting here. So here's the thing: like, there's a point of like defending the truth, and like some of the accusations she's made. I think there are certain facts that like I will back her up on, as of like she has called on them and asked questions. I think the way they went about asking her to meet and not giving her any like leeway on a time, a schedule, and doing it so publicly, I just think it was wrong. And number two, I just think that there's a lot of people, including people like Tucker Carlson, who have also said he just went on Theo Vaughn 2 days ago, and he said the Egyptian plane story was correct, that he confirmed it. So as much as we're all, and yeah, I get it, they're friends, and, you know, he has his narrative too that a lot of people are, you know, don't agree with, and people say he's, you know, paid by Qatar, whatever. But then that's my other issue is like, take away, because then I become anti-Semitic the minute I say anything like this. Take away Qatar. I think American people just don't have faith in the FBI. They don't have faith in our justice system. And I think it's up to the justice system and it's up to this administration to instill transparency and instill facts and come out and make the American people believe it. And if Candace Owens, who has such a big following, is asking for this, there's also people who've been in the military, gun experts who have gone on non Candace Owens people that she's referred to. I have looked at 100 other videos that are out there, and they've all disproven the bullet and the gun that they claim shot. It does seem odd how he did it all, or if he acted alone. All I'm saying is the American people already don't trust the justice system after everything that happened. Mm-hmm. This administration, with how hard it's been to get the Epstein files out, how hard it's been. Now we have like this whole Charlie Kirk thing, and it seems like it does seem a little bit on the JFK side. Like, what the hell is going on, and why can't we get some transparency? And why, if I ask a question or if I tweet out something, does that make me anti-Semitic, or does that make me like, you know, not?
Well, I think the Israel part of this, like, you know how many people today have told me that I'm a paid shill for the Israelis, like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, they must have the wrong address because the checks are going somewhere else. You know, so it's like, I understand from both perspectives. If you agree with Candace, you're an anti-Semite, and if you challenge it, you're a paid shill of Mossad. Both of those are obviously preposterous. But, you know, I think that America is also trained by the sort of law and order era of criminal justice where, like, you know, there's a trial happening where they're going to put this guy to death. They're not going to release any evidence they have while a trial is going on. And this trial is going to take at least a year. I mean, the guy made his first court appearance today, 3 months later. So it's like, you know, we have this idea. And look, I want to be, that's not a defense of the criminal justice. I think that these things take way too long. You know, we can get into a whole thing about criminal justice reform and judicial reform that I think needs to happen. But we have this idea that, like, you know, the crime happens at 9 and 42 minutes later, there's a conviction. And that's just not the way if they had evidence of something that they're going to use in trial, they would never release it to the public, regardless of look, this is obviously the most famous crime of, you know, a decade, 20 years. But if this was an armed robbery case, some guy knocks over a liquor store in Brooklyn, they're not going to release that evidence either because there's going to be a trial. And I think that in our judicial system doesn't move at the speed in which the rest of the world does. I mean, you got to remember this system was set up when people wrote with feathers. So I think that, it gives people a lot of time to speculate. Same thing with Epstein, same thing with a lot of the other stuff. And it is getting to feel like very Kennedy-esque at this point, where no matter what comes out, they still would believe whatever. Like when they released the JFK files, nobody's mind was changed. If you thought it was the mob, if you thought it was Alan Dulles, if you thought it was the Cubans, everyone thought it was. Nobody's mind was changed. And now it's getting to the point where I feel like the more crazy shit that comes out, no one's mind is going to be changed when the actual facts come out, regardless of what they are.
Well, I mean, that's the other part of it too. Like, what do you believe in your mind? What is she trying to do? Is she truly trying to get to the truth, or is she trying to sensationalize this whole thing? And I think she's trying to sensationalize this. I think she's trying to capitalize this. The way that she's going at it isn't a way that somebody who's seeking the truth would go about it. Mm-hmm. Granted, I too have lost a lot of faith in the DOJ and the FBI and stuff like that. And I believe that Kash Patel is doing his best given the circumstances, right? You can't reform something completely and chase down America's Most Wanted all at the same time. It really doesn't work that way. You don't grow FBI agents in 2 weeks. Like it's years and years of, you have experienced agents and stuff like that. But the other piece is like the way that she's going about this, it's very accusatory, very attacking everybody that says anything against her. And Erica Kirk specifically asked her to please stop, and she said she's not going to. So it's very crass the way that she's going about it. It doesn't seem like she's genuine in trying to seek the truth. It seems like she's trying to sensationalize this whole thing.
And that's another thing. The part about Erica is that now it's kind of shifted to I don't want to say victim blaming because that's a cliche, but now it's like she's going after Erica after 3 months of, because look, I think that, and anybody will tell you in PR, sometimes addressing the controversy makes amplifies it a little bit more. I think they waited too long I think they let too much nonsense get out there before they said something, before they say anything. But I think now going after Erica is just in bad taste. Look, when Joe Biden dies, I'm not gonna go after Jill Biden, despite the fact that I think Joe Biden was the worst president, at least of my lifetime, and that she was running the show and did all this shit and Hunter Biden and all that. I'm not gonna go after a widow on anything. That was she's not mourning correctly and she wears too many rings. And to me, it's just she looks up when she talks, the social media body language experts that are out there. I'm I don't see it.
I have a hot take on popular opinion. I honestly thought I thought the whole Charlie Kirk thing that happened, where it was not the funeral, but what did they call that when everyone came together? I thought it was kind of distasteful. I thought the firework, I thought it was a big production and show. And I thought it was kind of distasteful. Again, if you want to talk about capitalizing on something, and this morning person, it looked like pure theater to me. There was fireworks. I get it, the turning point thing, the sensational videos that you would see. And it is sad. And she's a grieving wife and they have beautiful children. And I don't ever want to take that away from, I'm trying to separate Erica Kirk and their children from the Erica Kirk of, the thing is she's a wife, but she's also the CEO of Turning Point. We have to separate that, because she is the wife and the mother of his kids, but she took on the role of CEO of Turning Point. So she does, unfortunately, listen, this happened in September. Time has come now to where she's also out publicly on every news channel now, having interviews. She's got to be ready for this. There's going to be people who want answers. It's because nobody wanted to step on her toes. Everybody did want to give Erica that time. And I'm not sitting here saying she shouldn't, as a wife and a mother, get that time. But as a CEO, she has questions, and I don't think it's wrong for somebody. If the thing is if it wasn't Candace, let's say it was Tucker or Megyn Kelly, would we all have that same opinion? Because they both, Megyn Kelly and Tucker, love her. They all love Erica, have great relationship with her, but they all have said like they don't believe the story. So my only thing is to Erica is like, you do have to separate her. She is CEO now of Turning Point Action. She's the leader of Turning Point and all of the families below that. And now but she also has children. So it just sucks because I think a lot of people who want answers, the minute we go to ask Erica to like step up as a CEO and really, answer some hard questions, then she turns to that victim as she's, the grieving wife and mother. And
well,
I mean,
I think
that's hard.
And look, I understand your difference between the widow and the CEO. I also think that the two of them, Tucker and Megyn, both would not be. I think it's more about the way Candace is going about this that makes it seem more attention seeking than like goal driven. I mean, look, Megyn Kelly she's a seasoned journalist. You know how to do an investigation where you don't just like. Real reporters don't know. I'm just asking questions. That has now become the end all be all to say anything you want. I played in the NFL. I'm just asking questions. Obviously I didn't. So to me, it's more about the way you go about it. If I was doing an investigation into this, I wouldn't come out until at least I had something that was rock solid, making any connection whatsoever. And she does the whole look, I just feel that the Turning Point people are behind this. It's how I feel. And she knows Candace is not a stupid person. She's not like an invalid. She knows what she's saying. She knows that with her audience, when you use the emotional language, A, you get around the lawyers, but B, people will just hear the part of it that they want to hear. The same way, and I think that's why Tim got so mad, is because when you put up a thumbnail, who benefited from Charlie Kirk's death, and you put up a picture of Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, what else is there to assume other than you're connecting the caption with the pictures? And I think that I would have been pissed off at it. And it's like I said, it's more about the way they're going about it than anything else. And I think that's what separates journalists from commentators. I'm a commentator. I am not doing deep dive investigations into flight logs and all this shit. That's just not my game. I commentate, and there are people out there far better than me to do those sorts of deep dives. And I think that when you step over that line, it begins to look like what this is right now. And she's starting to look ridiculous because the I'm just asking questions line only works for so long until it's all right, now you want Erica to ask you to stop and you'll stop. Okay, she did. And now you're well, I want her to tell me what I'm lying about. So now how many more caveats how many more negotiations do you have to have with, quote, the terrorist? You don't negotiate with that. How many more though? Well, now I want her to tell me what I'm lying about, so I'll stop in person at a Denny's on a Tuesday. How many more stops are there before Candace just join? And you want to do, like I said, you want to do the deep dive investigation, go ahead. That's the whole point of the decentralized internet. But the way she's doing it is just the exact opposite of what you would do if you really wanted to get to the truth.
Such great points all around. I think that's the thing for me as well, is I totally feel like asking questions is a good thing. That makes sense. I feel like it's totally fair to question some things, ask questions. It's a whole other thing that the part for me is the 10 plus conspiracy theories, kind of, Kevin, to what you're saying, without anything. It just feels like a lot of statements without stuff to back it up. So that's a whole other stretch.
Because if I sat there and I was all right, well, where was Candace Owens' mom during Charlie Kirk's assassination? I'm just asking questions. All right, yeah, where was the fucking Easter Bunny? Where was anybody? Where were you? Where was I? Where was everybody? To me, it's just, and it seems dramatized. The stay tuned tomorrow. I'll have more tomorrow. You have open time Why are we coming back tomorrow?
And it has been like it has been like a daily thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a daily back and forth.
And also it's just because we live in a binary, and take Candace out of it. It's like, if you don't support Ukraine, you must support the Russians. Or if you don't support, Gaza, you must support Israel. I can have questions about the official narrative and also think that Candace is nuts. Like, you're allowed to do both. Like,
they can coexist. Yeah.
Yeah. We live in that binary world now where if you, and to me, almost nothing is a binary choice. Everything is gray. There's caveats to all of it. And, it seems like the people who are most on Candace's side are the ones who have been part of, like, I call it the triple topic grift over the course of the last 6 months, where it's like Gaza, Epstein, Charlie, where it's like, all right, I will be a contrarian. And look, I want to be clear. Stop killing everyone in Gaza. I can support Israel at the same time. Also, I want to see the Epstein list. But it's the people who continuously make it like their life and know that we know you're monetizing it. Every one of us here knows the game. When you host a Twitter space, one day it's about Gaza, and the next day it's about why is Trump hiding Epstein, and the next day it's about who really killed Charlie Kirk, and then right after that you go right back to it again. It's like, we know what you're doing. It's like, maybe the average social media user doesn't understand, but it is very easy to be a contrarian on everything. And that pays. There's a friend of mine who wanted me to come on his show once to debate a flat earther. And I told him no. And when he said why, I said, because it's not. Like, we're done. Right. Like, I'm not going to come on your show and debate 2 + 2. We figured that out already. Let's move on. And I think that, there's a huge online grift for people who believe in nothing.
Yeah, I like the meme that has the flat Earth, and then it's got all the other planets that are around, and it's like, well, this is awkward. But yeah, no, it's I agree with the whole memorial thing was weird, right? It's weird, but they are unique people, right? They literally run political rallies, right? That's what they do. That's their life, So for me to say that, hey, you're doing this weird or whatever, because there's no script on how to mourn, there's no script on how to do this memorial. I don't really I don't want to judge them on that, because they live a very unique life. Like that, they literally political rally in Turning Point did more for us than any other PAC did for us in the last election. I believe that they had the best rallies. They brought the most people in there, and they helped us the most. And so for me to judge, how they should do that, I don't want to do that. Like, it's not my place to do that. I don't want to judge how she should mourn, because I've never lost my spouse. I never ran a PAC with my husband. I never had a show. Like, I never did all these things. So I can't tell you what it's going to be like, if to be in her shoes. And so I think, it's not a good look. And it doesn't, this whole, fighting or whatever, like, we're already coming from behind in the midterms, and this only hurts us. She has a huge following. And so we need every vote we can get, and this really hurts us. And we don't need to be at war for this thing. We can ask for answers, and I don't know if we're going to get the truth or not, but the thing is like, we don't need to be at each other's throats while we do it.
And there's no blueprint. This isn't like your dad died. Like, you're 40, and your dad was 80 and he died, and you go to the funeral home and you go through the steps, and there's no blueprint for watching. I mean, unless she's going to talk to one of the Kennedy brothers. Like, she's going to talk to Carolyn Kennedy on how she handled it. Like, where do you go? Like, I recently had a death in the family, and everybody's coming in and they're giving their advice on, oh, you got to move this into a trust, and you got to talk to this funeral home and this limo company and all that. There is no one on planet Earth that Erica can talk to about how to deal with the fact that the entire world watched her husband die. I mean, it happened live on my show. Like, I cried like a little bitch. Like, she's flying alone here. And then to have one of Charlie's friends, I think that's what really grinds. If it was some of these online people that like are obsessed with everything under the sun, I don't think they'd even care. But it's somebody so close. I think it's a betrayal, which is, look, there are crazy people online who are going to believe everything. But I think that's why they've been tippy-toeing around it, because Candace was one of them. Candace was one of Charlie's friends, and it's difficult. And I don't think any of us, I don't care who, me, anybody here on this panel, anybody watching it, has any clue about what they're going through, what Tyler and all them are going through, the shit they're seeing online every day about them, Erica and the family and the kids, like, they're going to have to watch this shit one day. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, imagine if the internet was around for Kennedy, it would be just as bad. But, I'm sure Carolyn Kennedy didn't watch, Oliver Stone's JFK movie. I'm sure that RFK didn't watch the assassination videos. These kids are going to see their dad die in real time. And I just don't know what this is benefiting for Candace.
And it was such a powerful thing too. Like, I know people who didn't even watch Charlie Kirk that have gone and got baptized because of this. Like, it's such a crazy thing. Like, it moved a lot of people. A lot of people were like really affected by it. And like, even my 17-year-old, I knew he was going to see it online, and because he knows who Charlie Kirk is or whatever. And like, I went and I was like, hey, do you want to watch this or whatever? Because I was afraid that he was going to see it on his own or whatever, because he's kind of an empath. And I watched it with him, and I was like, and he just went to his room or whatever, and I gave him a moment or whatever, and I went and I was like, hey, you were right, dude. And he was like, whoa. He's like, that was way worse than I expected, but I didn't want him to see that on his own. I didn't want him to be, because I just want, like, I had to see it with him. Like, we had to talk through it or whatever. And so because it's such a crazy thing, like, like, I had people texting me while I was at work or whatever, and like, just it was wild. And yeah, I don't know, like, I don't like that people would be coming at Erica trying to tell her how to deal. Like, I don't believe that she's in some whack conspiracy to take her. Like, that's just crazy. Like, I don't know why they would say that. Like, I get it that it's different, the way they do things different, but they also lived a very different life than I will ever live. So I can't expect them to, do the same thing as, I would do.
And look, just so everybody just noticed this, just so everybody knows, like, full disclosure, I'm a part of their influencer program at Turning Point. Like, I don't get paid by them. It's just like, it's like a little club. I got Charlie's book behind me. They sent it to me. I said, before anybody in the comments, oh, he's being paid, he's a shill. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I'll be at AmFest. Hopefully you'll all be there too. We can all get drinks afterwards. But it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's more about the way she's going about it. Have your questions, and I question everything, but the way she's going about it, and look, I want to be clear. There's no right way to go about it either, but I think there's definitely a wrong way, and this is the wrong way.
And I don't want to say, like, I agree with everything she's like, me standing up for certain takes on this or points. Yeah. I don't want to sit here and condone, like, if there's some really bad things she said or whatnot, I don't want to sit here and condone that. I just want to state, like, I'm only stating the parts that I feel like where there's validity to her asking questions. And I do have somewhat of disagreement on certain arguments, but I would never sit here and say, like, she's perfect. And I'm not like a follower of like Candace Owens. I don't wear her like CIA shirts or whatever those are. I mean, teach their own, right? But I just meant, I think we shouldn't discredit either, because she does have such a following. She has done a lot. And I think there's a lot that can be said for if all of these people are following the Charlie Kirk assassination through Candace, and now Tucker has confirmed what she came out with last week with the Egyptian planes. As crazy as it is, and as much as it's not our business and it might come out in the trial, I still understand why she is following it, because people watched this person get shot in broad daylight on live TikTok, live, basically on TV. And I think it's really hard for people to digest. And she's trying to get answers. And it's not really easy when you're an outsider. Even all of us who sit here and we talk to people in politics, we talk to journalists, we all talk to different people all the time. There's a lot of people who they have a Twitter timeline, or, they're on X, they're on social media. That's it. They don't know the nuances and the different relationships of people. And so maybe my only take on this is she's not perfect, but I do agree with certain things that are happening. And I don't think we should blame her or all of her followers, because she has a huge following. And that also should speak volumes to us, to all of us in politics. If she's getting that many people that want to know more, then we need to be more transparent, and maybe Turning Point should come out and answer questions and not play such hardball. Because
just because you have a follow, it doesn't mean you're not nuts. I mean, look at Scientology.
Well, I mean, she's got a huge following because of how dishonest the media is too. I mean,
that's another thing,
right? Like that's why, and that's why, it's regardless, like she's just, she's a social media influencer or whatever, but there's some responsibility when you're at the level that she's at, right? Like it's different. It hits different. Like she's almost got her, her own journalism channel, you know what I mean? Like it's very a unique situation. And so there's some level of responsibility that comes with that too, to not say that people are coming to you in dreams and telling you things that's just crazy talk.
And look, and it would be, I think it would lend more credibility to her arguments if she didn't have batshit theories in is she still looking for Bridget Macron's penis? Is that still a thing? Because I mean, look, I want to be clear. If the French First Lady was a man, I don't care.
Right.
To stake she said I will bet my career on it. And then a DNA test came out and it was it turns out she's just ugly. Which happens. Not everyone's as cute as me. But actually she kind of looks more like me than you two. But it's just it's it's stuff like that. And it's not about being wrong. People are wrong, but it's I don't know. Are you really going to stake your career on whether or not the First Lady of France is a woman or a man or not, and then expect people to believe you when you claim that your best friend was murdered by his wife and his best friends in front of the world? I don't know. It just save your
And I want to real quick say, since you brought up that point, I am not ever going to agree or accuse Erica Kirk of. I don't think she killed Charlie, so that's so far removed from anything I think. At all, just so everyone is aware.
And you can have nuanced opinions. You can have nuanced opinions about how did he get on that roof? How was that not? It's the same thing with Butler. How was that not the point that you're all looking at? Any person who's fired a rifle would have looked at the Butler case and went, okay, we need someone there. So it's okay to have the questions, but and
what's interesting too, not to interrupt, but Tucker Carlson, since the whole Charlie Kirk thing, and I've kind of hinted at this when talking to different people, he first went and did, if you look in the last couple months in between now and when Charlie was shot, Tucker Carlson interviewed a widow from 9/11 who looked into the whole 9/11 deal. And then he also did a whole series on Butler again and brought up the whole Butler situation. And now he's obviously come out and confirmed the Egyptian planes and whatnot. So clearly we all know where Tucker stands. And the one thing I will say is that's where Tucker and her have been a little different. Tucker's going and talking to other people and kind of showing how there's comparisons, which is we are all pointing out, where she's just continuing to consistently fire away at Turning Point. So I understand that's where Tucker's probably doing a better job, maybe.
Exactly, because Tucker is a reporter.
Yeah.
He was a commentator for a little, but he's a seasoned newsman. He knows how to vet a source. When Candace says, "Well, I got an email that Tyler Boyer or whoever it was, the hell's his name? The guy that hosts the show. The top guy at Turning Point. I can't remember what his name is. Oh, he lost $2 million. I got an email from a close friend of his that he got that he lost $2 million from Israel after they had Tucker there. And I'm like, how do you know it's a close family friend? What is this email? What does it say? Because I just got an email that the Mets are signing me next week. I mean, I'm not going to show you the email, but I did. It's here. So
right. Yeah.
And based on the week the Mets have had, they might actually send that email. So, so there is a way to do it that a seasoned journalist, whether even like someone on the left, like a commentator on George Stephanopoulos or Chris Cuomo, one of these guys, they've done the reporting before. And I think that that's the difference between commentators and journalists. And let's be honest, that line has been blurred, dramatically in the last 10 years.
Right.
Because commentators are doing investigations and investigative reporters go on CNN. So, it does kind of blur a little bit. And I think that's a detriment to a story that's this big, that actually requires like a Glenn Greenwald or someone of that stature to really dive in. And I don't agree with Glenn on a lot of things, but he's a reporter. Ryan Grimm is another one who is a batshit crazy leftist, but he's a reporter. He reports things. And I think that like I said, it's more about the process than about the person.
Yeah. And I just want to say, Madeline, too, like, I really appreciate everything that you've said. And I think that's completely fair. And I by no means think that by saying you agree with certain things that she's doing, that you agree with everything that she's doing, or so that completely makes sense to me. And I'm glad. I'm glad that, that you're being honest and saying that, I think. And I think that your opinion represents how a lot of people feel. And you're asking a lot of, great questions that other people are asking. And so, again, like, we're not jumping to any conclusions, or it's like all this and all that. And like,
I just want to stay for the record, because so many things have been said crazy. And I'm sure she has said things that I would wholeheartedly not agree with.
Sure.
But
don't worry, Matt. I love you.
News, goes so fast that, like, I don't want to sit here and like stand up for certain takes and then be like, yeah, I think Erica Kirk killed Charlie. I would never in a million years think that or want anyone to believe like I support her saying that.
Well, to your point though, too, like, there are a reason to have questions. Like, when he jumped off the roof, like, why, where was the rifle? Like, where was the right? Like, there's a reason to have questions, and there's.
How do you take apart a gun like that? Like, I've seen the gun. Like,
well, you can take it apart, but like
the time frame.
Like, you can clearly, when he's approaching or whatever, it's a completely different thing than when he's leaving or whatever. He's acting different, and it's like, well, where was the rifle at that? Like, there's a reason to have questions, and I personally have questions because I don't see how he did it. Like, I don't see, like, how he did that in the moment or whatever. Like, it doesn't look like he has it, right? I saw the same video everybody else saw. So, there's a reason to have questions. But the thing is like the manner in which you ask these things, the manner in which you, like, it's just a bad look to come at Erica. It's a bad look to say that Turning Point is this, the turned on him or what. Like, it's just like, I just don't get why you would do that. And I think,
and for the record, real quick, sorry, Jay Hans, I just want to throw this out there. Does anyone really believe that letter? Like, the letter that tranny, like, wrote, like, that he wrote the girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you call it. I don't know.
No, that is like,
that's
Chat
real
GPT,
odd, right?
Like, you know what? It's like that.
I just have to ask why we're.
But then again, like, all right, so it doesn't sound like a normal person would have written that letter. But then again, does a normal person shoot a guy in the neck, like, at a college campus store? So
it looks like something they had planned. It looks like that something they had planned to release or whatever to make it look like something else or whatever. Like, and there's probably some people behind him, but like, who are these people? I don't know. Like, I don't know who they are. Probably some radical left wing whatever. But like, it's just,
people need to go outside. Okay, you need to go outside. You need to go to a bar. You need to get laid. You need to meet some friends. Like, that's what all these freaks that shoot people, They're all loners. They all never been with a woman before, or maybe this one thought he was. Like, they, go outside, have a drink, like, go to dinner. You're weird. They're like 23 and they have vitamin D deficiencies. Like, they're on the same pills as my grandmother. Like, go outside, bro. These people that live in like subreddit culture, bro, no.
Yeah.
Now, all these shooters, almost every mass shooter at this point has been like deeply, except for Matthew Crooks, has been steeped in like internet culture and stuck in furry land or whatever the hell. Like, just go out, go to the park for like an hour.
Well, they said Crooks recently. They said Crooks when they were doing YouTube, like when they were doing search, they were saying Crooks was also into furries all of a sudden. Like, the narrative has changed recently with Butler. That's the weird thing is, do I think there's a lot there for sure to unpack, but I'm not going to even start there. But I think there's a lot of weird things that don't add up about that whole day. There was a lot, to Candace's point, but to Tucker's point, to a lot of people's, there was a lot of firsts where if you look at the JFK, you know, when people look at the JFK files, there was a lot of firsts for the JFK files as well, like that whole day as well. So I don't know. It all doesn't really add up. And that's what everyone has said from the beginning. And you also have to kind of rely on your gut. And if everybody across the board really doesn't feel like they are 100% that this guy acted not alone, there's still questions. I think that for the administration that promised transparency, you don't have to hire the perfect FBI, but we have to owe it to people who are asking questions still. Because there's too many people in politics now that are going to follow the money and that are not going to ask questions because it doesn't help and support people to ask questions. I can't go on Fox and talk about something like this and disagree with this. I would never be able to do that. You can't go on mainstream media and disagree with certain people or have different takes. As much as everyone wants to pretend you can have whatever take you want, it's not popular and you won't get invited back.
No, go on America's Newsroom and ask about WMDs. See if you're ever invited back. No particular reason at all. But the one thing that gets me about Butler is the rangefinder. They let him in with a range. I can't bring a lighter into a Trump rally. I know if you've ever gone to a Trump rally and like when you're leaving, they usually have a box that's about 5 feet high full of vapes and like 5,000 lighters. You know, you got to like get creative to get a lighter in there. You know how many guys I know stop at a gas station before just to get matches so they can like sneak them in so they can have a smoke for the 17 hours that you're trapped in that cattle area. Like, so that's what? Like a rangefinder, bro? And I got to tell you, I don't even know what the hell a rangefinder is. But when I looked it up, I'm like, that thing is gigantic. Look, how did you? Oh, hey, I happen to bring my rangefinder with me. Like, what, bro? No, that. But like I said, it's okay to ask questions. It is, and I think it's healthy. But in a case,
I also think it's odd that we haven't asked questions about Butler.
Yeah.
Why? I'm glad Tucker brought it back up because that's the other thing is the news cycle is moving so fast that a lot of times the whole goal is to push past a lot of the things that they don't want to continue talking about. And nobody brings it back up because it's unpopular or because there's the next thing. A lot of times you'll see, and our party does it just as often as the other side, we put out different takes or different positions that may not, or news that may not be popular. We put it out during the weekend or during a busy news week because we know it might fly under radar. That is a strategy a lot of people use. And so I am glad people are asking questions. And if the administration and anybody wants midterms to not look the trajectory of where we're at now, midterms does not look good for us. And so all I'm going to say is if they really want to make a difference, we really need to start asking questions and they need to start answering them. And if Turning Point wants to shut it down, then maybe they should, I don't know, let Candace come. If they would let Candace come on a Zoom call, here's the thing, that would end all be all. Also, if she, all these conspiracy, all these things that comes into her in a dream, or these statements about the planes that Tucker may have said or whatnot, The one thing I will say is they could try to hit her with a gag order. They all have attorneys. They have millions of dollars. If they really wanted Candace to shut up, there's two options. They could answer her questions, or they could get a lawyer involved. I mean, Kash Patel didn't like people coming at his girlfriend, and they hired lawyers and served them.
Yeah, I think that makes Candace a martyr. I think that would actually make the problem significantly worse. I think for a long time they hoped that, and look, obviously I don't
Hope
speak
it
for
would go away.
that like she would run out of crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
And like she's not running out of crazy. Like, now that she's like run out of, I hate saying conspiracy theory because normally like the difference between conspiracy theory and truth is usually about 7 months, but like just almost in any case. But it's like I now it's about Erica and her, and it's like I don't know. Now it's getting very, very fucking mean girly, like very high school cafeteria. But like you said, this is important. If Turning Point is in trouble, which who knows if it is or it isn't, if their organization at the top is focused on Candace Owens and palm guns, then you're right. Midterms are going to be rough. And by the way, speaking of rough midterms, I'd like to thank the Indiana Senate for screwing us tonight. Thank you, guys. Hell of a job out there in Indiana and fucking Pence territory.
Well, speaking of midterms, I wanted to go ahead and play Candace's response to Tim Pool, a little bit, of the play-by-play of the soap opera, like day-to-day back and forth going on. But just wanted to thank you guys so much for being here, for tuning in. Thanks to everyone who has shared, reposted the stream. If you're watching on X, please repost. We would appreciate it. If you're watching on Rumble, YouTube, please like, subscribe, all that jazz, and interact with us in the comments. I will pay attention. I'll bring your questions, comments, feedback up on the screen, all that jazz. So, appreciate you guys. But, okay. So here is Candace's one of responses to Tim.
He is a fundamentally weak man for what he did there. He should apologize. He won't. I don't care what happens to his platform. He's now essentially trying out because he's under financial pressure. He's trying out for a Zionist to pay him, and they will. Okay, they will cut him a check, and I hope it happens for you, Tim. I hope it makes you happy. But to do that to someone who has never done anything to you other than disagree with you about the Charlie Kirk narrative, I have not focused my content on you, and anytime your name has come up, it has been because you have explicitly been attacking me. You are a coward. You are less than a man. Okay? You are behaving. Your type right there is like a person who's having financial issues and yet decides to go out and put $100K on a poker game. And when he loses and is a further $100K in the hole, comes back home and beats his wife and kids and thinks he's a tough guy. That's how you're acting right now. I'm not your wife. I'm not your kids. Get your affairs in order and stop blaming me, because I'm actually traversing down the path that hasn't been traveled by standing up and saying that something corrupt happened and Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And I don't care about your midterms. Okay, I don't care about your next year midterms and whether or not the Republican Party is united. Okay, because I don't want to stand next to people that would cover up Charlie Kirk's assassination. I hope that I have made my point perfectly clear.
So, I don't know with that one, right?
Well,
like,
first off, Candace, you don't put $100,000 on a poker game. That's not how poker works. I don't know if you were alive in the 2000s, but it was all over ESPN. You could have checked it out. Yeah, but I don't care about your midterms. I don't care about your midterms. Well, I do, because I'm in this for the long haul. I'm in this for the movement and not for myself. I want to be clear. We lose the midterms. People people I know, people that we are friends with are going to jail. They will subpoena everyone with a platform, including some of the people on this panel, like friends of ours that are way bigger than any of us. They've done it before. They sent Steve Bannon to jail. They sent Peter Navarro to jail. they will run the gamut on impeachment. That guy with the funny hair has already tried to impeach Pete Hegseth. You had some no-name congresswoman trying to impeach Kristi Noem. You had the congressman with the pimp cane who's already tried to impeach Trump 3 times. The movement will be shut down. I care about the midterms a lot because if we go into this as divided as we are right now, there's going to be a fucking Tea Party style wave on the left of people who are insane. People who made the craziest Tea Party people, the Michelle Bachmans of the world. They're going to make them look moderate compared to what's coming from the radical left. I'm not talking your Kennedy Democrats. I'm not talking Andrew Cuomo. I'm talking people that make Zoran Mondani look reasonable. Like, they will win everywhere. And then what will happen? You think you're going to get answers about Charlie Kirk when Congressman Zycot Chakrabarty is the head of the Financial Services Committee, or when the Speaker of the House is AOC? You think you're going to get that? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So, in my mind, like, we need to get our shit together. And if we go into this divided, and of course, like I said, the Zionists, they'll cut them a check. We got to find a way to get Israel into there. Something. It's like somebody bet Candace Owens she couldn't work into Israel into everything. It's. I don't care about your midterms. Well, a lot of us do. A lot of us do. Maybe it's nice. Maybe it's nice for Candace Owens to just be able to flee and go live in her husband's country. But some of us, we have nowhere else to go. Like, we can't just fly away to another country and just, all right, well, we'll be fine. Like, so I do care.
Right.
To your point, I'm extremely nervous. The Trump administration, speaking of the FBI or DOJ, they need to step up. And listen, I don't know we can't really all comment on the Comey and the Letitia James cases, but they're done. They got burnt, and that was not a great thing. There are other cases out there. There's referrals that have happened. They are not being handled properly. There are investigations, multiple that I know of, and they're not being handled correctly. The Pam Bondi, the special AGs, any of the special investigators, they have not been in communication with the whistleblowers or with the people that have filed these investigations. And it's like, finally, conservatives are trying to come out and say, hey, we know this person is, paying herself her campaign money. We see the fraud. It's on the FEC website. It's black and white. This is completely different from something I talked about last week. And it's like, but now they don't want to talk to them about it. They want it to just go away. And it's like, I don't understand. Are Republicans supposed to stand up and not be cowards? Or now we have people that are doing that, they're going to get burnt, because what's going to happen if Kash Patel and Bondi and leadership does not take control and start making real arrests, actually make real indictments happen, then at the end of the day, all these people and these patriots that are fighting for justice and transparency, they're going to end up being the ones that they're going to come after them. And it sucks. Yeah. And this administration is not helping. They're not giving answers. And there's a lot of people out there that are really scared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to your point too, like if they did do something significant, like justice wise or whatever, that would ignite the fire that the base needs, right? People are tired of being let down. People are tired. Like, they put in a lot of work in 2024 and they're tired of being let down. They're tired of more Ukraine money. They're tired of these things that are still continuing to happen that they, were supposed to be stopped. Money for the Taliban, right? Mm-hmm. Why in the fuck are we paying the Taliban still? Like, why? We have this whole government that, that should be like a no-brainer, that you can be like, hey, yeah, paying the Taliban is not a good idea and it's not in our best interest. Like these type of things. And it's very disheartening. We're almost a year in and it's still going on or whatever. Not that Joe Biden shouldn't have stopped it too. Like, they shouldn't have been paying the Taliban. Like, what, but the thing is like, people feel a little bit disheartened because of that. And so if we could get to your credit, some action from the DOJ. I think it would really excite people in ways that we need right now.
Absolutely. And, I'll agree with you guys. I think that they've bungled a lot of the stuff. We haven't really gotten everything that, at least, or a lot of what we were promised. But to be clear, if Democrats win, we'll get none of it. None at all. Like, it'll be shut down immediately. God forbid we lose the Senate. I mean, it looks like we're going to keep the Senate just based on, which senators are up this year. But we lose the Senate, it's going to be even worse, because then you're going to get no confirmations. You're going to get nobody put through. It's going to be exceedingly worse. I also think that the Trump administration, in a lot of ways, overpromised when they were running. I think that a lot of people think that they're going to get a video of Hillary Clinton getting duck walked out in shackles. And guys, that's just not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Even if we get Adam Schiff on whatever the hell he did and Swalwell and all, the idea that you're going to get that sort of them walking all hunched over with handcuffs attached to their waist, that's not gonna happen. It's not realistic. And I think that people have, and a lot of it comes from what the people in the administration have said before, but I think people have really talked themselves up into expectations of things that were never really realistic in the first place. Like jail time for politicians. I never really saw that as a reality, whether they should or whether they shouldn't.
It's not a reality on their side.
Yeah,
it's a reality on our side.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't, and that's another thing I don't understand. Why it's so. We talked about this last week, so I'll just bring it up as another whole thing. If Adam Schiff creates mortgage fraud, pass. Or if Letitia James creates mortgage fraud, pass. There are citizens out there. I can go pull about 20 cases. People are serving real jail time for exactly what Letitia James and exactly what Adam Schiff did. The evidence, it's public record. It's black and white, unfortunately, for these people. So yeah, I think it's ridiculous. And I don't understand. And then also, you want to talk about the auto pen or this whole thing with Obama and Russiagate. It's not that I want Hillary Clinton in handcuffs or that I thought it was going to happen. They drug Trump to court every day during the last 4 years. I don't care if Obama never saw, let's say Obama never saw a jail cell. He never, he didn't even have to go through the whole perp walk. But just the thought of him having to spend his money, take his name, because everyone puts Obama on this pedestal. Let's put Obama in the hot seat. Why is it the Republicans we talk a huge game, but we're cowards. Nobody actually ever goes after the people and follows through. And a part of it is because we have corrupt judges. And at the end of the day, Susie Wiles is out there saying everything's going great. What?
Yeah, no,
I'm confused. Where are you thinking this is going great? Also, Susie Wiles supports Mike Johnson and thinks Mike Johnson's doing a great job. And this is my own opinion. I am a Republican through and through. I want a smaller government. The only bill that we have notoriously passed is the Big Beautiful Bill. I don't want a Big Beautiful Bill because I don't believe in big government. The American people are not going to, I've seen the Big Beautiful Bill. I've read it. I've highlighted certain parts of it. But at the end of the day, I want smaller bills so the American people can follow it. The constituents can follow what we're passing. Nancy Pelosi, in her defense, she got in there and she really passed. She had 11 things passed before we got the Big Beautiful Bill even halfway through or voted on. So yeah, I have a huge issue with Mike Johnson's job. I don't support Mike Johnson's job. Yeah. I think he's doing terrible. Susie Wiles, God, I'm about to sound like this was going to bring up anti-Semitism. She worked for Israel. She worked for Israel. She ran Netanyahu's campaign. It is public record. So I'm not sure if people know that. Mike Johnson, huge. He gets a ton of money from the AIPAC. I'm not trying to recircle back to AIPAC and highlight that because I've already supported Candace Owens. They're going to really think I'm coming for them. But like, you also have to ask
Well, you see
yourself,
who's in the title, so we're going to be circling that wagon soon, I guess.
yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing is, like, unfortunately, one thing always leads to another. And it seems like we can't get away from these people. I don't understand it.
Well, I thought we were going to get smaller bills. I thought that was the entire point of getting rid of Kevin McCarthy and putting Mike Johnson in the first place with what Gates did. And, I guess I was wrong. But, I want smaller bills also. Now, I want to be clear, that big, beautiful bill, for all the things in it that I don't like, the things that I do like, they better pan out. Because if they don't pan out, we are so fucked in 2026. Like, if there is not an economic boom in the next 12 months or 11 months, like, it's gonna be bad news bears. They are putting a lot of weight behind what the big beautiful bill is going to accomplish. And I'll be honest with you, I'm liking Scott Bessent more and more every day. I think his stock is really rising. I think he's the one guy in the administration that when he came in, people were like, who the hell is that guy? Like, you heard of Pam Bondi, you heard of Cash, you heard of Bobby and Tulsi and Christy Nome and, Lee Zeldin. You heard of these. I remember when they announced, fucking Scott Bessent. Like, where the hell they drag this guy from? But I think his stock is rising in a very serious way. Let's hope that him and Lutnick have the economic numbers in order and we can get the boom that we want. Because they're going to need it.
But we also need, so here's the thing with tariffs, the tariff plan, it's great, but at the end of the day, tariffs have to pay. It takes time for us to reap the benefits of tariffs.
Yeah.
If we lose midterms and all of our policy, all of these things start to fall apart, right? Then at the end of the day, the tariffs will hurt the American people. The tariffs ride on Trump carrying out these 4 years, having the House and Senate, and then also for the real win for the American people, JD Vance or whoever would be his successor, they have to win in 2028. And a big part of us winning 2028 is we have to win midterm. We cannot lose midterms. And I am very scared about midterms.
Well, the other thing too is that they need to be careful of is, again, overpromising, right? We're running a $2 trillion deficit, and you're talking about getting rid of income taxes. Like, what are you, like, we're not even close to where we could actually realistically get rid of income taxes. Like, that's not, like, don't do that. Like, don't throw that out there, because people are going to remember that you said that, and they're going to make you eat your words. And it's a bad look again for us, because it goes back to the tariff things or whatever. Like, if we're not even covering the deficit, then why are we talking about getting rid of income taxes altogether? Like, it sounds great, but like we're not even, we didn't even put a dent in that. So
and look, just from an electoral perspective, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. If you look at the electoral map in 32, if we win 28, it might be very, very difficult for a Democrat to win on an electoral college level for the foreseeable future, just with the amount of electoral college votes that California and New York are going to lose, that Texas and Tennessee and Florida are going to gain. It's going to be very hard for Democrats to ever win again on a presidential level. And it's not out of the realm of possibility. We've seen these sorts of things before. I mean, the Republicans didn't hold the House of Representatives for like 48 consecutive years following World War II until the Gingrich Revolution. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but people are voting with their feet, and purple areas are becoming more red. So I'm going to punch myself in the face for saying this out loud, but like 2028 is the most important election of our lifetime, which, like, every time I hear somebody say that on television, I want to throw something at the screen. I'm like, you said that 4 years ago, Dick. Like, but it's electorally, this is going to be huge for us, particularly if they are able to change the census data to citizens rather than persons, or just with the outflow of illegal immigrants affecting the population numbers on the census. Like, California could lose 5. New York could lose 4. I think Idaho is getting 2. Idaho? Really? I didn't know anybody lived there. Like, I think
Idaho is awesome. For one, Idaho is awesome. Like if you've never been there, and they're one of the most Bay states outside of Boise, like in the U.S. So just know that. I actually,
no, they got it right, man. That's why everybody in Western Oregon, I'm sorry, in Eastern Oregon and Washington, they're all going, take me, Idaho, please.
yeah, love Idaho.
Well, I think a lot of people were upset that Candace said that she doesn't care about midterms. So that rightfully so. I mean, some other things, right? The whole like poker thing, going home and beating your wife and kids.
And to be clear, Tim Pool's one child is like 3 months old. Like, so, like, really? That's where we're going here? That you beat your infant? Like, also,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
You can't put $100,000 on a poker game. It's not the fucking Wild West where like you walk into a casino and like drop like coins on the table. But it's. And I want to be clear. If you've ever been to, I don't know if you guys have. If you've ever been to his facility where he is, that man is not hurting for cash. Let me tell you. Okay, like he's got an elaborate setup in Bumble motherfucking fuck.
Yeah.
Like I was driving down that road and I was like, oh, this is where I die. This looks like the house in Jeepers Creepers in the middle of nowhere. Like I was like, I've seen this movie. The fat guy dies real soon. But it's so he's doing fine financially and it's.
But yeah, I mean, I can also vouch for that. I have also been there and went on Timcast IRL. And he does, in fact, have security. Like there is, in fact, a gate with security. I
was shocked
for that. Yeah, me too.
It was very like Corleone compound feeling. Like when when the car is blocking the gate in the movie, and then they got I definitely got that kind of vibe. So like, and look. People are shooting at him or whatever, and he's got kids and he's got family. He's got to pay for all that. I absolutely get it, and I'm sure it's incredibly frustrating to know that you're running an entire operation just to keep the operation physically safe, while finding out that Candace Owens, la-di-da, doesn't really care. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure he's incredibly frustrated with that.
And I feel like that comes across, like in watching that video of him, like it does feel very genuine to me. Like he, is genuinely like upset. And scared and whatever, I don't know if scared's the right word, but you know what like it's real. It's,
I mean, look,
emotions.
Following Charlie's death, I think anyone who does any version of what Charlie did is scared.
Yeah.
I was speaking at Stony Brook University out here on Long Island a couple months ago, like a month and a half ago. And there was like 150 people there, like not anything like Charlie's level, and I'm not even going to pretend to be on that level. But let me tell you, every time that door opened for the lecture hall we were in, every time I looked up.
Yeah.
And like, I am nobody. 90% of the reason I got to speak at Stony Brook is because I went there and it happens to be down the street. Like, well, I mean, down a very long street, but like, so it's like, I was afraid. So what's Tim thinking? Who's multitudes bigger than I am, had attempts on him. Somebody shot up his house, and then some idiot decides I'm going to call the sheriff's office, and they say they don't know what happened. Jackass called the wrong damn county sheriff, and then that video went viral that Tim Pool's making the whole thing up. Like, yeah, I'd be pissed, bro. Like, you guys got bullet holes in his fucking house, and he's got guys with 250 followers on Twitter, like calling the wrong sheriff, getting the wrong information, claiming it never happened. And then Cam Higbee has to come out and, Cam is a reporter, so he did the right thing.
Yeah, incredibly frustrating. I can't imagine, what he's going through or feeling. And yeah, I mean, all I can speak to is that when I met him, he was lovely and nice. And so yeah, those are some very
I actually never got to meet him.
Bold in a bad way claims against him for sure. So I can understand why.
I'm the one person who got to go on the show and never met him.
Well, yeah, the show that I did, he ended up not being able to do. So I didn't actually do the show with him, but I did get to meet him afterwards. And I stayed in DC and went to the Culture Wars live debate as well. So I got to meet him there. So
Oh,
I did thankfully get to meet him, but he was going through a lot of that at the time that I was doing the show, and he had lost his voice and a whole bunch of things. But fortunately I did still get to meet him.
I think a lot of people who don't do what we do, and I'm not special, but like we're out in the neighborhoods registering voters. I was out with Brandon Strzok in New York City, and people were coming up and they were getting hostile. They were getting red. Oh, hey, that's where we met. That's where we met. And
I was not hostile.
No, you were not hostile. You were lovely. You should tell because I know you're a former Democrat. You just won't say it out loud yet. But those guys were coming up to, I don't know what they're gonna do. It's New York City. Like there's a lot of crazy people out there. So to that, I can understand why. I mean, I'm never gonna stop, no matter how worried I am, because if we stop doing what we're doing, then Charlie really did die for nothing. And I was telling someone who I may or may not be working for, I was telling them that that this inspired me even more to do what we think we have to do, because if not, what are we doing? Why did Charlie die? Why did the entire world watch the young man with his whole life ahead of him die? And that a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that said after that they went, I'm done. I'm not signing up for this. I got kids. I got wife and kids, and I got everything. And I don't blame them for ducking out. But, it's it weighs on me. And I just hope that I was telling you this the other day, I just hope that if God forbid something happens to me, nobody does what Candace is doing to the family.
Yeah.
Because if not, if my boys do, I will fucking haunt you. Like Paranormal Activity haunting,
Yeah. Well, we talked about. No, sorry.
Give credit. I just want to also, we can give credit to Trump too, because he got shot, and there's that whole fight where when he got shot, and he led by example. Where after he got shot, he stood back up and he said fight. And so I do, as much as I give our administration sometimes hell because I believe so much in them, I will give Trump credit here. He led a great example, and Charlie continued the work. And unfortunately, Charlie, what happened was so sad. But now all of us have to continue being brave, or we lose. You have to stand for something, or you'll fall for everything. And if all of us fall and say, well, hands up, then what does our future hold for our children, our grandchildren?
1,000%.
Not good.
And without Charlie in the mix, all of us have to do a little bit more. You gotta put in the extra volunteering days. You gotta, maybe do some stuff for free. I can't tell you how many campaigns I consulted with this midterms that I was just like, look, we gotta do what we gotta do here. We gotta get things done. So it's a lot, but like I said, I just don't think what she's doing is helpful. And you want to have like real policy debates. You want to debate like Israel funding, or like what they're doing in Gaza, or you want to debate Ukraine funding, or tariffs. These are all policy debates that good people can have in good faith. But like that clip she played about Tim, oh yeah, some Zionist will write him a check. Like, what she's doing there. That he's being paid off by Israel because he's opposing Candace. And it's like, I'm sorry, everything can't be about Israel. Like, because if every problem in your life comes down to one thing, guess what that one thing really is? You. Like, so if every fight you have with your husband or your wife is your husband or your wife's fault, guess what? It's probably your fault.
Common denominator.
It's like there's a comedian that's got a funny line. He goes, there's one asshole in every family. And if you don't know who in your family is the asshole, it's you.
Yeah. I think a lot of us can relate to that. But no, that's beautiful. It's very touching. I think it's so inspirational. I interviewed Brandon Straka on the Bold Talk podcast, like pretty soon after Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I really genuinely was feeling for him, because I've seen him out there. I've met him out there. I know what you guys were doing. So really, that was the first thing that I asked him about and talked to him about was because I was just truly thinking about him and how he was feeling. It definitely had such an impact on everyone still. So yeah, and things do get heated, and he was sharing like something that weekend had happened and things got heated in New York at a. So yeah, it's definitely, everyone's,
And look, we and like I said, I'm not even remotely comparing myself to Charlie or what he built and whatnot, but it's we have to keep doing it. Like I'm going on a college speaking tour later in the year. Well, I guess next year. Can't really get much later in this year, but and I'm definitely not going to some of those upstate New York colleges this year. That I can tell you. But we're going to be kicking that off, and it is worrying because if they could get to Charlie like that, how easy would it be to get to me?
Yeah,
And, it's terrifying. That's why I think that just what. And I hate to keep harping on it, but I think that's why what she's doing, saying I don't care about the midterms, it's going to demoralize a shitload of people, and you are going to see
right.
It's bad enough that presidents tend to lose their first midterms anyway. Like historically, I think the last one to do it, the last one to not lose was Bush after 9/11, which that doesn't really count. 9/11 obviously was an extenuating circumstance, but we all came together after that. Now it seems like after the Charlie thing, we're even more divided. And
well, that's why I also think that attacking her isn't the solution. Bringing her down is not the solution. You need to bring her into the fold. You need to have the conversation. You need to it's a better way of doing it because again, she has a huge following. So the better way to go about this is to open the dialogue, have the conversation, have people sit down and hash it out or whatever in a civilized manner. I don't think that attacking across social media is the way to go about it, and it further discourages people from our movement, and that's harmful. And so I don't want to see it done in that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was, part of the question I opened with is and I think, Tim's sentiments and is just the harm that this is all doing. So.
And I'm frustrated too, but the thing is you gotta pull it back together. We gotta come together some way. You gotta find a different way to go about this than attacking her. And I don't agree with what she's doing, but I'm also not gonna go and call her a C word and stuff like that with a huge following or whatever. It's because that's not going to solve anything. That's going to put you against them. And now she's saying that you're beating your.
He looked horrible when he said that. I don't know him, and I have nothing against him like that. I've never been on his podcast, so I don't want to say I've never.
Well, I like.
But the C word publicly, when you have that kind of following,
that's fair.
Should that wasn't the way, especially when you think we need Gen Z, right? We need that vote that they swing independent, and mainly they could go either way. We need Gen Z and we need women, and that is not a way to win women, and that is definitely not a way to win the Gen Z. It's just not a good look.
Right. Yeah. And I like Tim Pool. I think he's awesome. I think he has a lot of great takes and stuff like that. But the thing is these people got to come together. Fuentes too. You got to come together some way, right? We can't further ignite this flames because we're gonna all burn with it. So there has to be a better way.
Speaking of Fuentes, what did he have to say? Don't we want to know? What did Nick Fuentes have to say about all this? Where's my clip? To
put it simply, if Candace were not doing this, this would not be happening. If she were not going live cynically every day exploiting this, it wouldn't be happening. No one else would be doing it. And there would be no hysteria and paranoia over this. People might have some lingering doubts and questions about the assassination. People would be eager to see the case against Tyler Robinson and what the evidence is. People would still be talking about it. But there would no one would be connecting it to Brigitte Macron. Nobody be taking it there. Nobody be talking about Egyptian planes and maroon shirts. Nobody be motherfucking Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA. This is just her. Like, she's doing that unnecessarily because it feeds her ego and it makes her richer. And it's hurting the country. It's hurting the conversation. It's setting back the credibility of anybody that has ever doubted the FBI, actually, on anything, because it's so reckless. And it has to stop. Somebody's going to have to put an end to it. And like I said, I'm going to watch the stream on Monday. And listen, a lot of people don't have the resources or the brain power to do this. If Turning Point is not successful, I'm going to put it together and I am going to blow a gaping fucking hole in her credibility that she will not recover from. I will tell her entire story that nobody knows, her spook-ass, weird husband. I'll tell the story about her donor, who is a Scientologist. I'll tell the story about Rebecca Mercer. I'll tell the story about how she was suing people for racism and doxing conservatives. We'll tell the whole story. We will blow a giant hole in her credibility that she will never be able to put back together, because this has to stop. It's ridiculous. The whole country is being held hostage by this ridiculous black narcissist, this idiot. And that's what she is. It's a shame. You know, I really admire Tim Pool. He's really, there's no love lost between me and Tim Pool. But I admire how Tim Pool stood up to her. That being said, he goes, oh, she's a genius. He had her flying henchman, the gay pedophile, on the week before. And Tim Pool says, she's a genius. She's not a genius. She's a fucking idiot. And everybody needs to be clear about that. Let's just drop the pretense. She is not genius. She's not even smart. She is a fucking idiot. The only thing that she knows how to do instinctually is manipulate. That's it. Today she said Erica Kirk needs to compartmentalize her business and her personal life. But she didn't say compartmentalize. She said compartmentalize. 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 Erica Kirk is going to bury the story because she can't compartmentalize. Shit, she can't compartmentalize. She can't compartmentalization is. She can't compartmentalize and all that. She can compartmentalize that. She's a fucking idiot. I've never seen a stupider person have a bigger platform. Honest to God. I mean, say what you want about Tucker. He's no dummy. He may be dishonest, but he's no dummy. And say what you want about a lot of these people. They're smarter than you give them credit for. This person's a fucking retard. And a malicious, she's just a sick person. So it has to stop. Anyway, I'll stop my rant about it, but she's driving it to this point, and I'm going to have to be the Dark Knight here. It's sort of funny. All these conservatives that were trashing me and hating on me, now they're counting on me. Now they're counting on me to take her down. Erica couldn't do it. Blake Neff couldn't do it. I can. And they know that. So a lot of them are cheering me on. They're saying, I hate Nick. I don't agree with Nick, but he's right on this. Because I'm a true believer. I'm a true believer, and I know what I'm talking about.
Well, to Madeline's point, I don't necessarily love all of the language, like whatever. There's a tone. There's a, I think, but thought.
His opening was spot on. I don't agree with what he's going to do afterwards, but his opening was spot on. Like, I agreed with everything he said, how this is bad for the country, how this hurts the whole movement, how this is no good comes from this. Like I just don't agree with how he's planning to shut it down. I think that it doesn't end there, right? It doesn't end with like she's just going to continue, like it's just going to continue to be a back and forth. They're going to continue to slander each other. Like it's not going to be. it's not just going to end there. Like he's not just going to blow up her, or, you know, release information or whatever, and like she's still got her following. They're still going to be with her. Like they're going to agree with her, and you know, not him. So the thing is like it's better. I don't know. This is the dad in me. This is the first Arn in me. Like it's like they have to, like, you need these people to come together and have a meeting, you know, and hash it out. Like it's a better way to do it. And you know, but again, his opening statement was flawless. Like everything that he said about how this hurts the country was spot on, 100%. Like, and I don't think any liberal would disagree with that too. Like it's not good. It's not good at all. Like what they're doing right now. And so we need to, you know, I don't know. There's a better way to do it.
Swing away, Nick. Swing away. And I want to be clear. What he said at the very end, a lot of them are going to come out and go, well, I don't like him, but I hope he, I guess what? I don't like him, but I hope he does what he's got. Like, you know, because I think when you open the door to cruelty, you can't, like, if it was just, if she wasn't being such a narcissist about the whole thing, I probably would like not want him to do what I know he's going to do. Let's be honest here. But, you know, when you open the, when you open the door to that, you can't be shocked when people with just as big of a platform fire back. And look, I mean, look, it's just because all the idiots are, I'm not a fan of his. I think he's kind of a dick, but like he's defending two people he hates who hate him because of how wrong she is. Right. Like, you know, that's like, if that doesn't tell you something. And look, his stock is rising all over the country. You know, I mean, all over the internet or whatever. He's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, whatever the hell, whatever you want to say. But he's literally defending two people who hate him because of how bad Candace is at this. And I'm curious what happens on Monday. So I'm curious.
I don't hate Nick Fuentes. Number one, too. I just say this, like, I just talked about language and like profanity and whatnot. I do like Tim Pool. I have respect for him. I follow him, whatnot. I just meant in that take, in that time, he could have delivered that message so strongly. I wish he would have left a certain word out because I think we could have won certain people over there. If you want me to like say I'm on the Tim Pool side. But when it comes to Nick Fuentes, his profanity like is outrageous. But people like that. In fact, I thought it was crazy that New York Magazine came out and called him like the new chart, like said that a lot of the young people, college, especially college age males, are now going towards the side of Nick Fuentes. That right there is also something that should also open the eyes of the administration and for everybody with midterms when it comes to voting. Because again, Candace has a big following. Nick's following is growing. And I give him credit, and on a PR take of this, he owns it. Like one thing is if you own who you are and you own your hot takes, people can't use it against you. Like you could say anything you want, it's your opinion. Whether you get criticized for it, that's on you. You said it, but if you believe it, who cares? He really stands by what he believes. And so just like, you know, Candace is out here saying, I stand by my thoughts or my theories. There is still huge followings there. And I'm not saying they're right or they're wrong, but everyone needs to wake up to the fact that young people are following both of those people. Mm-hmm. And they want answers. And we cannot just continue to support the administration and say, hey, you're doing a great job, when there's millions of people that are paying these two and giving them money and supporting them. They wait. I know like in the last couple of weeks, I've recently logged on because I've been curious, like how many people. He doesn't have a set time, and people will wait like an hour, and it's late. It's like 11 o'clock at night. They will wait just for him to come on. And yeah, his stock is growing. And I thought he made Pierce Morgan look like a complete moron the other night. So sorry, Pierce, but you know, yeah. I don't know where Pierce thought he was going. Like he's not afraid of anything. That I knew that was not going to go well because Pierce came for him and
didn't really
He's not on the same level, yeah.
And look, I'm far more interested in the why than the who or the what. So
Yeah.
like Nick's views, I think they're ridiculous. But why is his popularity growing? Like I remember when Andrew Tate was coming up, when like he was like really big and he was the hot take, and I was like, why are young men gravitating towards the sort of like excessive bro culture that Andrew Tate promotes? Why is that? Now, and look, I like with everybody else on planet Earth, I agree with some of it and I disagree with some of it. I would like a Bugatti myself, but I think that's important. I think if you can get a Bugatti, get a Bugatti. But like, why was that happening? And it was because of young people who were in their early 20s got told for the last 20 years that every natural instinct they had was wrong and that everything should be feminized. And if you don't want to sit in class, it's because you're doing something wrong. So let's hook you up on Ativan and Ritalin and every guy on television is a useless, bumbling moron who would be retarded without their wives. Like there's no strong masculine figures out there. And seriously, every dad on television is useless. Like there's no like strong sort of like Dick Van Dyke or Archie Bunker or like any just good Tim Allen
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah, like
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
What
was that show called? Like Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. Sorry, I couldn't think of it.
I know. I couldn't believe it came to me.
There was no strong father figures in culture, and I think a lot of young men were looking for that sort of thing, like non-emasculated men out there, and even our celebrities. Like, I remember growing up with rappers that I believed. Like. Now I look at rappers and I'm like, I'll beat the shit out of all of you. Like I remember growing up with like G Unit and Dipset, like those guys were thugs and they rapped about it. And now I'm like, is Drake your tough guy? Like really, bro? Like A, you're Canadian, but B, you were on Degrassi. So like, how tough are you actually? Like how from the hood are you when you're talking about being all hard? And I think someone like Nick people need to, instead of acknowledging the crazy shit that he says, that he likes Hitler and that he likes Stalin and the Jews and the black. Instead of that, why is he popular? Because 20 years ago, he would have drifted away into obscurity. Nobody would have given a shit. He would have just been another crackpot on the internet. But he's gaining. It's a market response to a void. What is that void? And how do we fill it with that? And it's like what Maddie said. People need to really acknowledge why these people are becoming as popular. Even with like before Tate, there was Jordan Peterson that would like talk to young men and give them advice. And that worked for a little while. And then there was the pushback from the crazy feminists out there who seem to only care about abortion and nothing else. But why?
Should we call out the common denominator in Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes? Ben Shapiro.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I'm just going to say it. Like, Nick Fuentes is a product of what happened. Ben Shapiro didn't like him. He didn't like his hot takes. And Ben Shapiro worked really hard to get him off the air and to cancel him. And that's not, that's no secret. There's what's the other pretty dark-haired girl? She took over for Candace. I forget her name. I feel terrible.
Brett Cooper.
Brett Cooper. She, recently she spoke out about Ben Shapiro because Ben Shapiro didn't like things she was saying, and she was just speaking about something very basic. And so I'm not gonna say this is not me being anti-Semitic. I don't have a view on that, but I will say that we need to look at these people. There is a big divide right now in the base, and the big divide in the base definitely stems from here's the other thing. I have more of an issue with the state of Israel than I do with Jewish people. I have family that are Jewish. I have friends that are Jewish. So since I keep commenting on different people that are Jewish, I better claim that. But truly, I have more of a problem with the state of Israel in certain things. But I have a problem with a lot of things. So
Well, you know,
but there is a common denominator there.
It's
And
so
we
interesting.
all just said we need to look at common denominators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting you said that because, like, you know, 10 years ago with that whole like intellectual dark web that popped up with Shapiro and Rogan and Dave Rubin and Sam Harris and Barry Weiss, the sort of heterodox thinkers that were really growing in our world. Now some of them have become the villains of the movement that produced them in the first place. And I think that's incredibly, I just think it's on like a cultural level, it's fascinating. Now, like Barry Weiss sold out to CBS. I want to be clear. You want to give me $150 million, I'll give you whatever the hell of me you want. Like,
Yeah, really.
I will find a way to not care as I swim in my kiddie pool of hundreds. Like, you know, so to me, it is interesting on a cultural landscape. Even like some of the big podcasters that really started it all out, like Crowder and I'm drawing a blank, but there's a few more like that who have not who have drifted away, but have become less relevant in the movement. It's fascinating to see.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, I just wanted to say, like, I totally agree with you in terms of, you know, oh my God, I lost my train of thought, guys. This new time.
Yeah, can we go back to the old time?
I know. Sorry. No, we did move this to later, and like my brain is dying. I don't know what's up with that. But no, there was something that you said that I wanted to circle back to.
Was it Andrew Tate?
No, wasn't an Andrew Tate, but anyway.
And like I said, that's not an opinion on Andrew or his brother or, you know, whatever they were promoting. It's just like, why did they become so big? Why did that happen?
Okay, yes, that is. Thank you for helping me. This is old age, guys.
That's what I'm here for.
But no, I guess it's you know, I'm big on like the learning from things and like the takeaways, and so I think it was a really like to ask those questions, the why, like the whole why thing, I think is really cool and really important to, you know, to get to the what's really going on and what do we do with this and like where do we go from here, like why is this working, why. So I really liked that.
Well,
and
look, for a long time you weren't allowed to ask why anything was happening.
I don't think they still are. I think I think a lot of people are scared to ask why. A lot of the American people, when they start saying why, or they ask, and this is not just about Candace Owens, this is about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And this is across the country, this is all different aspects of politics. I think people are asking why, and they want to ask more questions. And if they do, it's like when you're in school and you're young and you're like, I really don't understand what's going on, and you want to ask a question. It's like people are afraid. They're afraid because and I hate that, because the American voter, we need them to understand full circle what is actually going on. They are smarter than a lot of the politicians want them to, you know, they are getting smarter. And then you have all these people like Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes. They all have their different ideas. I don't even think it's just a paid shill. It's fuck the paid shill thing. Listen, you could be a paid shill for a beauty brand. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. All I care about is that the fact that they have their beliefs, you have your beliefs, and we need to somehow really come to balance out these beliefs. And one of the biggest ways is transparency. And that goes back to what I said in the beginning is I just don't think that this administration, there's a lot of PR going on. Like, Susie Wiles is amazing at PR. She was great at running campaigns for years because that is her specialty. Is like, she knows how to put a dress on everything. She's really great at spinning any type of narrative, and she's very good at controlling a narrative. And that's why she's always been great on campaigns. Look at now, she's running the White House. She's really controlled the cabinet, and she's really controlled what has gone out. And the minute certain things have gone out, she's made sure that to come back and, you know, correct that statement or make a point to say, no, I'm friends with this person, or everything's good here. So yeah, I do think the administration needs to realize that there's big things here. And JD Vance, that's a whole nother topic. But JD Vance is Peter Thiel's. One thing I would agree with Nick Fuentes on is he is Peter Thiel's pony boy. And Palantir, there's a lot of things there I don't support. And I'm from the Cincinnati area, so I love JD Vance's brother. It's unfortunate he lost mayor. But we have a huge problem. If we don't get transparency, there's no way JD Vance will win if he becomes the person they nominate and the successor, which Trump has yet to confirm.
Well, I tell you, I am Team Vance all the way. I just love his story. I love his vibe. I don't know about the Peter.
Totally.
I don't know about the Peter. I hear everybody yelling whenever people yell Palantir, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't really know what the hell Palantir does. Like, they sell data, but I'm like, who doesn't have my data at this point? Who doesn't have it? Like, every day I hear about a data breach, and I'm like, all right. Yeah.
I like JD Vance. I just mean, so Peter Thiel, the reason everyone says that is Peter Thiel has consistently basically paid and propped up JD Vance in every aspect of his career. And it was very honest and truthful when he was only in the Senate for a very few years when he became the nominee for vice president with Trump. So, I mean, I don't have issues with JD Vance, but here's the problem. The way you have to go back to the way everybody looks, the way the voter sees everything, they're going to shout out Palantir. They're going to shout out Israel. They're going to shout. There is a divide in our base. And you guys, when the Democrats lost their base because they went too far left, the question is, have we gone too far right and we're leaving behind a big group of people?
Well, that's why do you think that if the big beautiful bill does what we're being told, it will be enough to circumvent? Because look, if we get a rush booming economy and jobs are everywhere and wages are going up, and,
jobs are not going to be everywhere. Jobs are going to be scarce, but I don't believe we're going to see a bounce back in these job reports. It has been, look, you can take politics out of this. AI is coming into effect and people don't want to hear it, but it is changing. And secretaries, they don't need secretaries. You don't need people to write things for you. You don't need somebody on your X to make tweets. Grok can do it for you in 5 seconds. That's a lie. And robotics are coming, but here's the end of the deal is you don't need a lot of engineers for robotics. And that's a big problem too, because people and a lot of AI specialists have been out there and saying, hey, you think illegals are a problem? Wait till you have robots and you have AI running in every company. Dell was just, I said it last week on the show, Dell is out there giving $1 billion or, for this whole Trump accounts thing, but they just fired 25,000 people in the last year due to what? AI. So there's a balance.
By the way, could we stop teaching the robots to fight, please?
You've said that before. I know you feel really strongly about that.
Yes, of course. Like the Romans taught their slaves how to fight, and then they were shocked that they killed all of them. Like, I don't know.
Well, Big Beautiful Bill allowing AI to have no fence, no bound. Yeah. Like, it just lets AI run rapid. There's no rules, there's no law, and really that should be a fear to everybody because AI is there is danger there, and I think that I'm really shocked that the bill passed with that.
Well, here's an actual question that I don't really have the answer for. Do we constrict AI because, let's be honest, we probably should, and allow the Chinese to figure it out first? It's kind of like the idea of the nuclear bomb. Like, obviously a nuclear bomb is a terrible, terrible idea, and we're dealing with consequences of it for decades and decades on. But was it better that we figured it out first than the Soviets or the Nazis or whatever? It's to me, it's we almost sometimes have to play to the common denominator, because if we don't figure out fighting robots, the Chinese are going to figure it out, and then it's going to be Star Wars, the Clone Wars. And
I guess the question is public, because we don't get the same weapons that the military would take over to war. We're not letting the next person go into a gun store and buy. Like, it really depends, because there is certain things. Like, do I think that we should just shut down any type of AI? No, but there's things happening, like they talk about all the conspiracies in Antarctica. There's all these weapons happening and being built. But that doesn't mean we need to let the public or not have a plan. Listen, we have not even been able to tackle healthcare in a decade. Nobody wants to touch healthcare. The last thing we need is AI to come about, and there's no plan for what happens with jobs. We all saw COVID was a great example of the pandemic. When people didn't have jobs, you saw people in the streets, you saw riots, you saw an uptick in drinking, an uptick in like different issues with depression. I'm sorry, but like, for you to tell me that we should just keep letting jobs disappear and you're going to take someone's purpose. And also, we just had a government shutdown. UBI is not a joke. I don't want my daughter, I don't want the future of all of our children to be relying on UBI. So what, that means Chuck Schumer gets to decide if my daughter gets to eat or not?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Well, it reminds me. Angela we did a show with Adam Coleman, where Elon Musk made some really scary statements about AI and like what the future looks like. And he was saying that basically humans aren't going to have to work, and you're going to grow gardens and stuff, and you can just do this, and you're just going to have money. And it was like really like, what? Like, that's absolutely not the way that's going to work. You're not just going to have money, and your mortgage isn't just going to go away because AI, like, it's really like he was way off on that one. And for somebody who's in charge of a company that makes AI, like, that's really scary for that. And I think
I was gonna say, sometimes Elon Musk talks and I'm like, oh, you're fucking terrifying, bro. Like, you're horrifying. Can you relax?
Well, I think he's well intentioned, but the thing is like, he's in charge of this thing, and it all boils down to ethics. The people that are in charge of it, the people are developing it, do they have ethics? And I think in a lot of cases the answer is no. And in terms of like China, like I'm not too scared of China or them getting ahead of us in terms of tech. Everything Chinese is a knockoff of our tech, so they steal our tech. They try to copy our tech. Like, I'm not really worried about that. But the thing is like, back to the ethics piece or whatever, what that looks like in the future, because these jobs are going to go away. And what do we do with these people that are now unemployable? Like, I don't. It's coming at us faster than we can probably handle, and we're gonna have some tough questions to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, such valid concerns, and it is something that we've been talking about a lot. Okay, guys, to close us out, I'm gonna play 3 back-to-back clips. Kevin and all of us sort of already alluded to this, but this is Candace saying, "Just asked me to stop." Erica responding, and then Candace responding. So let's show that to close us out and get some final thoughts going.
No one, and I mean absolutely no one, outside of my husband and Erica Kirk has the power to shut me up right now. That's it.
Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus. Yes, I believe in our judicial system. I do. We have a hell of a team working on this. Excuse my French. But this is not okay.
So you want to put these people back in the box where they've been creeping from?
I don't care what box you're in. But just know that your words are very powerful, and we are human. My team are not machines, and they're not robots. They are human. We have more death threats on our team and our side than I have ever seen. I have kidnapping threats. I have, you name it, we have it. And my poor team is exhausted. And every time they bring this back up, what are we supposed to do? Relive that trauma all over again? They watched my husband get murdered. I have no idea how I would have reacted if I was there that day. And thank the good Lord that I did not have to see that happen. But my team, they are rocked to the core. So why every single day do they have to be dragged through the mud, analyzed, hyper-analyzed?
You know,
sit in a corner and cry and be in fetal position. This is a duty to my husband, and it's an absolute honor, and I will never back down. And so my message to them is to stop, to stop.
and that's what we will say here on Outnumbered.
Super fun show today. You're probably seeing the clips, but Erica has gone off on conspiracy theorists. Obviously, every journalist out there is emailing me because it's about me. It's indirect, but it's also about me. And don't worry, in case you think it's not about me, she is going to name check me on stage with Barry Weiss on Saturday. How do we know? Because our mommy sleuths be everywhere, and they recorded the town hall today. And as soon as the town hall concluded, we got a flutter of emails. And what she says about the Egyptian planes, I'm sorry, not gonna lie, it's a little suspicious. It's weird. It's a weird response. So look, we got to go there.
So that's where we're at, guys. Just wanted to get any final thoughts. What do we think is going to happen? Where is this going? What do we see? You know, what do you think?
Tune into the next episode of the Candace. Tune into season 2. Like,
yeah, I think the next thing is going to be Fuentes going at her on Monday. So,
well, we'll have content for Tuesday.
Because you know why, and I think this is important. That you sometimes you can't prove a negative, like the palm gun that the people were talking about. Like, how do you prove something wasn't there that wasn't? Like, you know, there were 12 Israeli phones at Turning Point. All right, well, I don't know. Maybe there was a field trip. Or maybe there's students from Israel that go to you. I have no idea. But whatever answer they give, she's going to have but it could be this. Like, it could be the fucking Santa Claus. Like, you know, and I think it's very hard to prove a negative sometimes. Especially when, like I said, like the example I used earlier in the day. Like, I'm not the guy that invited me on the show to talk about the flat earth. No. I am not an astrophysicist, but I know the earth is round. Like, you know, I know that I'm not a mathematician. I know that if I take 2 apples and 2 apples, I have 4 apples. Like, you can't prove a negative. And I think that's what Candace is banking on, that people are going to watch the clips that she puts out and the things that she refutes. You know, I don't know about Egyptian planes. Maybe there was somebody said something about, like, there's a fleet of planes that get maintenance in, like, Kansas City where these planes. I have no idea. But Candace doesn't have to prove anything. And I don't think Turning Point is going to be able to refute the negatives that she puts out. You know, I mean, does she go off the wall and can bring it back to Israel paid for Bridget Macron's sex change, who sent the French Foreign Legion to kill Charlie? Because then she loses. But I think she's going to come off the same way Nick Fuentes has been coming off completely rational on PBD and on Tucker. I think Candace is going to come out looking like, oh, I'm just asking questions, when we all know that's really not what she's been doing.
Well, I appreciate you guys so much. This has been great. I've really enjoyed having you.
I didn't do a good job hiding that cigarette puff right there.
Is that what was going on?
Yeah.
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, well, I'm answering them.
Well, I appreciate you guys. We'll stay tuned. We'll see what's up next. But But yeah, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Everyone, please follow them. It looks like you all have your handles up here, so that's great. Jay, Kevin, Madeline, thank you so much for being here. I've really appreciated and enjoyed this conversation. And yeah, I hope to talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much. Yeah, is there any final things you guys want to say or shout out?
Let's do it on Friday, on Monday after I don't know, what is this, season 2, episode 4 of Candace and the rebuttal that comes afterwards, or after Nick loses his mind. I don't. Guys, go out and register new voters. Okay, do that for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Call to action stuff. Yeah, make a difference. You guys are great. I appreciate it. Definitely a lot of call to actions in terms of things that people can do to really make a difference and help, and what's important, and not getting caught up in the distractions. And again, just reiterating, asking questions is a good thing, but right, there's a whole approach, and who do we believe and why? And Madeline, to your point earlier too, I think it's that you said that I really liked is that I think people are often scared to ask the questions. They get discouraged, or you're worried about retaliation, or you're worried about backlash, and it's uncomfortable, it's difficult, but it's important. So I think that was a really good reminder and message for everyone as well. So follow these guys, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your night and weekend. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. Have a great night. We'll talk.
Bye. Thanks.
Thanks, Madeline, for coming last minute too.
Bye.
One of my favorite people. One of my favorite people. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
you guys rock.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been Bold Voices. We will be back on Tuesday for the next live stream. Tuesday is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is the new Thursday time. We're going later because apparently the afternoons are not the best time for everyone. So that's great. So we'll do later on Thursdays. So Tuesday we are live 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Thursdays we're live 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, follow on all the things, subscribe, all that jazz. We're streaming via Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and X. So any of those things, appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for interacting with us in the chat. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Couldn't do it without all of you. Thank you so much again to all my amazing guests. I love you guys. You rock. And that's it, guys. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm excited. I have a holiday party that I'm hosting. I'm like, what day is tomorrow? Saturday. So I'm having some friends over. I'm cooking lasagnas. So tomorrow I will actually be cooking the lasagnas so that it's less work on Saturday. But so I don't know if you guys have holiday parties this weekend. I hope you enjoy. I know the holidays can be difficult for people, but I hope that it's a beautiful holiday season for you. I got a real Christmas tree yesterday and I decorated it and it's bringing me joy. I'm a real Christmas tree person. I don't know about you. I definitely love the smell of a real Christmas tree. And so I did all that yesterday and it's been really, really nice. So I'm enjoying that. It's my first one since being back in Florida, and I was able to actually get like a way bigger tree than I've been getting in New York the past however many years. It's mostly been a tiny tree that I can put on like a kitchen counter because I had no space in New York. So it's really fun to have this is the biggest tree I've actually ever had. It's not like ginormous, but it's big. I think it's like 7 or 8 feet, something like that. So obviously need a step stool to decorate it. But yeah, I hope you guys are, enjoying the holiday season and spending some time with friends or family. So yeah, I hope if you have holiday parties this weekend, enjoy. I will be hosting my own and I'm looking forward to it. So anyways, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. And DM me, I don't know, whatever. Let's keep getting to know each other and spending time together and hopefully making the world a better place. Thank you guys so much. Good night. We'll see you for Bold Voices on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great night.